The first thing Elijah Crow noticed wasn't the woman hanging from his roof. It was the smell. Burned pine, old smoke, the kind that doesn't belong to any recent fire, the kind that feels remembered rather than made. He stood frozen in the snow, breath fogging the dawn air, eyes slowly lifting to the shadow swaying above his cabin porch. And when the wind turned her body just enough for the light to touch her face, Elijah understood something was about to drag him back into a past he had buried deeper than the mountain itself. Because this mountain didn't forget, and neither did love, Elijah Crow had chosen the mountain because it was empty, or at least that's what he told himself. 30 miles from the nearest town, no neighbors, no roads worth nomming, just rock, pine, and silence so deep it rang in his ears at night. Silence was safer. Silence didn't ask questions. Silence didn't remind him of the man he used to be. That morning the sky was pale and undecided, hovering between night and day. Elijah stepped outside with a cup of black coffee, boots crunching in the snow, already thinking about splitting firewood. Then the wind shifted. The rope creaked. He looked up. A woman hung from the beam of his roof, blonde hair tangled by the cold, boots dangling inches above the porch floor. For one terrifying second, Elijah thought she was dead. His heart slammed against his ribs as he dropped the cup, coffee spilling like ink into the snow. He shouted, voice cracking. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her fingers twitched. Relief hit him so hard it hurt. He rushed forward, grabbing her waist, steadying her body as the rope strained above them. Up close he could see her face, pale, scraped, lips blue from cold but not lifeless. She smelled like smoke and snow and something else, something older. Elijah cut the rope with his hunting knife and caught her weight as she collapsed into his arms. She was lighter than she should have been, all bone and shiver. He carried her inside without thinking, laid her near the stove, wrapped her in every blanket he owned. Only then did he notice the beam. Burned into the dark wood above his porch were two words, carved not by knife but by fire. Apache lover. Elijah stared at them until his chest tightened. No one knew that name here. No one should have. His hands trembled as memories clawed their way back. Red earth, drumbeats, a woman laughing under desert stars, and a promise he never kept. Behind him the woman coughed. She woke hours later, eyes sharp despite the exhaustion, blue eyes, the same impossible blue as the sky after a storm. "You cut me down," she said hoarsely. Elijah replied. "You were hanging from my roof." A faint smile crossed her lips. "Then it worked." "Worked for what?" She turned her head toward the window, toward the beam outside. "To make sure you couldn't ignore me." Elijah swallowed. "Who are you?" She met his gaze fully now. "My name is Clara Hale, and someone is trying to kill me because of you." The mountain groaned as the wind rose, and Elijah knew deep in his bones that the silence he'd built his life around was finally broken. Clara stayed for days. The storm came that night, thick and merciless, trapping them together. Elijah cooked what little he had. Clara slept, woke, slept again. And slowly, between the crackle of fire and the howling wind, the truth bled out. She was a journalist, or had been. She'd been investigating a string of deaths tied to stolen tribal land, illegal mining operations buried beneath sacred ground. Every trail led back to one name whispered like a curse, Elijah Crow. "You disappeared," Clara said softly one night watching the flames. "After the fire, after the trial collapsed, people thought you were dead." "I wanted them to," Elijah replied. Years ago he had loved an Apache woman named Naya, fierce, brilliant, unafraid of anything except forgetting who she was. When the land was threatened, Elijah had testified, spoken out. And then the fire came. The settlement burned. Naya died saving children trapped inside. The case vanished with her. "I failed her," Elijah said, voice hollow. "So I came here to rot quietly," leaned forward. "No, you survived, and someone doesn't want the truth dug up again." The words burned into the beam weren't a threat. They were a reminder. Someone knew the story. Someone wanted Elijah awake. When men came up the mountain 3 nights later, guns flashing in the dark, Elijah didn't hide. He stood his ground. For the first time in years he fought not with rage but with purpose. The mountain echoed with shots, then fell quiet again. By morning the danger was gone. Weeks later, Clara left the mountain with evidence, testimony, and Elijah walking beside her. The story broke nationwide. Land was returned. Names were spoken. Naa's name was honored at last. Elijah didn't go back to the cabin. He built something new instead, near the reservation, near people, near memory. The beam with the burned words was placed above the door, not as shame, but as truth, because fire destroys, yes, but it also reveals. And sometimes loneliness isn't a punishment, it's a pause before you're brave enough to live again. You can run from pain, bury love, and hide in silence, but truth has a way of finding you. And when it does, choosing courage can turn even the loneliest mountain into a place of healing.